Now the discharge date, and again for primary care you won't use this because you're going to be seeing the patient all the time, but if it was physical therapy, we said that we had to finish by the 26th, and you may give them a discharge form to fill out, and you say, well, how are you feeling now, Craig? And he may say, well, now I feel about a 9, and you can say, well, look, whatever we're doing seems to be working. If the patient is deceased, you can put in the date that they died. User field 1, 2, and 3 are whatever you want them to be. Be consistent. Some people put in the email address for the patient or other information. I can click on next page, or I could click on notes. This is a notes field. I can enter, maybe I want to say that Craig is nervous, needs special attention. I recommend that you use this screen for personal notes about the patient. This is never printed anywhere. It's just for you. The HIPAA tab is used to track information. Maybe Craig came in and told you that he came in on 2010, and this is going to expire 02/26, and it's notice, and he's going to say, do not, do not give personal information. You can also put more information here. The patient has the right to tell you that you cannot give out personal information, maybe to a wife, a spouse, or anyone. They might say that you can give information to my employer or you cannot. But the idea is you get to put in any information that you want regarding sharing patient information, personal information, with some other person. The F6 referral button is used primarily for work comp. Here you would put in who referred the patient, the date of injury or illness. And if I click on that field, you can see that it's going to say date of illness or injury or illness. The diagnosis, the claim number, if it was a work comp case, who's the case manager, does the patient have an attorney, does the employer have an attorney. This is useful for work comp, and I'm going to say cancel. I don't want to save any of this information. Now I can say OK. And what I've done is I have now added a patient. And notice how it sorted it. It put Parks Craig D in front of Parks Ronald B. Notice that his ID number is 4. You can never change that. We said he was Medicaid, CO. And if you forget what those mean, you can click on the utility. Go to special flags. And there's your list of sent to collections and MD Medicaid. This is his chart ID number, 2345A, Social Security number, date of birth, phone number, and address. This screen does scroll a little bit to the right. This is useful when you have two people with the same name. You can look at their date of birth and say, oh, this is the one I want to work on. Other buttons on this screen, I can print a chart label, I can print an address label, or a billing label. The billing label and address labels are similar, but the address uses the patient address, the billing uses the billing address for this patient. Insert adds a new patient, change, or I could double click on the patient name and it will call up the screen. Notice that I have something here in special. Anytime you put something in special, it highlights it red and it marks it on the screen. Now I'm going to say OK to this. Now, you may or may not have remembered, but before this had the gray like the Kit Kat Sophie has. This helps to mark special information. It might be that you don't want to see this patient. It might be that the patient has some sort of allergy, but anytime you mark anything in special, it means that you need to look and see what that message is. And in this case, it just says default prior ID number. It's reminding you maybe that you need to get a prior authorization number for this patient. The change will change, delete will delete. Anytime you press delete, you'll get a warning message. Are you sure you want to delete this highlighted record? If you say yes, in this case it says you can't delete it because you have account information. You cannot delete someone that has charges and payments. When we talk about the history module, we'll show you how to move someone to history that has a zero balance. To delete this person, I would have to go to their account file, F3 for accounts, and I would have to delete this charge. Now, the system has a way of preventing you from deleting charges that are posted. Posted means that they're marked as unchangeable in the system. I can click on this line to see what the charge is. And in this case, it's unposted. An unposted account can be deleted. That's not a good idea. We'll go ahead and delete that charge. And I'll go ahead and say, OK, we've saved that. Now we no longer have a charge for this person. Close this. Now we'll try to delete Kit Kat again. And we'll say yes. Now it's probably going to tell me that I have a charge header. A charge header is where you put information, and here's the charge header. It says that we have some information about the charge header. We're going to go through this again in a minute, but this says that the patient, we have some information. We don't have any diagnosis code in this case, but we do have something there. So I'll say OK to that. And if we want to delete this patient, we'll go ahead and delete the charge header. We'll say yes. And we'll close this. Again, the escape key sometimes is faster. Now when I say delete,